In 1908, a young journalist received an assignment that would change not just his life, but the lives of millions. His name was Napoleon Hill. He was asked to interview the richest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie. The interview was supposed to last 3 hours. It lasted 3 days. And at the end of those 3 days, Carnegie gave Hill a challenge. I've spent my life learning the secrets of success. I've seen what makes people rich and what keeps them poor. Would you be willing to spend 20 years studying the most successful people in America at no pay to discover the formula for achievement? Hill said yes. For the next 2 decades, he interviewed over 500 millionaires: Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, the most successful people of the era. And he discovered something remarkable. They all followed the same principles. They all thought in similar ways. Success wasn't random. It was a formula. And in 1937, he published that formula in a book called Think and Grow Rich. What he discovered wasn't just about money. It was about the power of the human mind to achieve anything it can conceive and believe. Let me share that formula with you now. It starts with something simple, yet most people never do it. You must know exactly what you want. Not, I want to be rich. Not, I want success. Not, I want a better life. Specific, precise, crystal clear. Hill called this definiteness of purpose, and it's the foundation of everything. He wrote about a young man who wanted to work with Thomas Edison. Not just any job. He wanted to work directly with Edison as his partner. Everyone told him it was impossible. He had no connections, no special qualifications, no reason Edison would ever notice him. But he had absolute clarity about what he wanted, and he believed it was possible. He showed up at Edison's office. He didn't get the job that day or the next, but he kept showing up. He took any work he could get near Edison. He made himself valuable. He stayed focused on his definite purpose. Eventually, he became Edison's most trusted partner. This is the power of knowing exactly what you want. It focuses your mind, it directs your energy. It makes you see opportunities others miss. But knowing what you want isn't enough. This is the second principle. You must desire it intensely. Not a casual wish, not a "that would be nice," a burning, consuming desire that becomes an obsession. Hill discovered that every person who achieved great success had this quality. They wanted their goal so badly they could think of nothing else. They dreamed about it. They talked about it. They were willing to stake everything on achieving it. Most people have weak desires. They want things, but only if they're convenient, only if they're easy, only if they don't require too much sacrifice. That's not desire, that's wishing. Desire is when you want something so badly that failure isn't an option. When you'll find a way or make one. When you'll persist until you succeed or die trying. But here's where it gets interesting. Desire alone isn't enough either. The third principle is faith. You must believe absolutely that you can achieve your goal. Not hope, not wish, believe. Hill wrote that faith is the visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. Your mind must accept your goal as already accomplished. This sounds mystical, but it's practical. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you repeatedly visualize your goal as already achieved, your subconscious begins to work toward making it real. Every successful person Hill interviewed did this. They saw themselves succeeding before they actually did. They felt the emotions of success before they achieved it. They lived mentally in the reality they wanted to create. And somehow, that mental reality began to manifest in the physical world. The fourth principle, you must have a plan. Dreams without plans are fantasies. Desire without strategy is just enthusiasm. Hill found that successful people took their definite purpose and their burning desire and they created concrete plans to achieve them, step by step, action by action. And here's the key. When one plan failed, they created another, and another, and another. They never stopped planning and acting until they succeeded. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he created a working light bulb. 10,000 failed plans, but he never stopped creating new ones. Most people make one plan. It fails, and they quit. The successful person makes plan after plan after plan. Failure is just feedback. Each failure shows you what doesn't work, bringing you closer to what does. The fifth principle is specialized knowledge. General knowledge isn't power. Specialized knowledge, organized and applied toward a definite purpose, that's power. You don't need to know everything. You need to know the specific things that will help you achieve your specific goal. Henry Ford didn't know everything, but he surrounded himself with people who had specialized knowledge in different areas. He built a mastermind group. Which brings us to the sixth principle, the mastermind. Hill discovered that no one achieves great success alone. Every achievement requires cooperation, partnership, alliance. The mastermind is a group of people who coordinate their knowledge and effort toward a common purpose. When two minds work together, they create a third, more powerful mind, a mastermind. Andrew Carnegie's entire fortune was built on the mastermind principle. He surrounded himself with people smarter than him in specific areas. Together, they achieved what none of them could have achieved alone. Who's in your mastermind? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they pulling you up or holding you back? The seventh principle, decision. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Hill studied thousands of people who had accumulated fortunes. They all shared the habit of reaching decisions promptly and definitely. People who failed to accumulate money have the habit of procrastination. They wait for conditions to be perfect. They seek more information. They want guarantees, but guarantees don't exist. Perfect conditions never come. More information just creates more confusion. Successful people decide, then make their decision right through commitment and action. The eighth principle is persistence. This might be the most important of all. Hill wrote that lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. It's a weakness common to the majority of people. It's a weakness that can be overcome by effort. Every person he studied faced defeat, temporary defeat, sometimes crushing defeat. The difference was they didn't accept it as permanent. They persisted. They kept going when everything in them wanted to quit. Persistence is to your character what carbon is to steel. It's what transforms ordinary desire into extraordinary achievement. But persistence requires something else. The ninth principle, the power of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind works constantly, day and night. It's the connecting link between your finite mind and infinite intelligence. Everything you habitually think about sinks into your subconscious, and your subconscious then influences your actions, your habits, your circumstances. This is why Hill emphasized positive mental attitude, why he talked about the importance of faith and belief, because what you feed your subconscious mind determines what it creates in your life. Feed it fear and doubt, it creates failure. Feed it faith and certainty, it creates success. The successful people Hill studied guarded their minds carefully. They controlled what they thought about. They deliberately chose empowering beliefs. The 10th principle is one that makes people uncomfortable: the mystery of sex transmutation. Hill observed that the most successful people had learned to redirect their sexual energy into creative and productive pursuits, not suppress it, transmute it. Sexual energy is the most powerful human drive. When that energy is channeled toward achievement, toward creation, toward building something significant, it becomes an unstoppable force. The greatest artists, inventors, entrepreneurs, they all found ways to harness this energy for their work. Now, here's what ties all of this together. Everything begins with thought. This is why the book is called Think and Grow Rich, not Work and Grow Rich. Your thoughts create your reality, not in some mystical, magical way, but in a very practical way. Your thoughts determine your beliefs. Your beliefs determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. If you think you can't succeed, you won't even try. If you think wealth is evil, you'll sabotage yourself every time you get close. If you think you're not smart enough or connected enough or lucky enough, that becomes your reality. But if you think with definiteness of purpose, if you desire intensely, if you believe with absolute faith, if you plan persistently, if you surround yourself with the right people, if you decide quickly and persist endlessly, you will succeed. Not might, will. Because you've activated the most powerful force in the universe, a human mind fully focused on a definite goal. Hill discovered something else in his research. Most people are held back not by circumstances, but by fear. Fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of poor health, fear of loss, fear of old age, fear of death. These fears paralyze people. They prevent action. They destroy dreams before they even begin. But here's the secret. Fear is nothing but a state of mind, and you control your state of mind. You can choose faith over fear. You can choose courage over cowardice. You can choose action over hesitation. Every person Hill interviewed had faced the same fears. The difference was they acted despite the fear. They moved forward even when they were terrified. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. Let me tell you what happened to Napoleon Hill himself after he completed his research. He had spent 20 years, as Carnegie promised. He had interviewed hundreds of successful people. He had discovered the formula. But he was broke. He had no money. He had sacrificed everything for this mission. He had to decide, would he follow his own formula, or would he give up and get a regular job? He chose to follow the formula. He applied every principle he had discovered. He had a definite purpose, to share this knowledge with the world. He desired it intensely. He believed with absolute faith. He created plans. He persisted through every obstacle. And Think and Grow Rich became one of the best-selling books of all time. It has sold over 100 million copies. It has changed millions of lives. Hill proved his own formula worked by living it himself. Now here's the question. Will you? You've just learned the formula that the most successful people in history have followed. The same principles that built fortunes, created innovations, and changed the world. But knowledge is useless without application. Understanding is worthless without action. You must take what you've learned and use it, today, right now. Start by defining your purpose. What do you want? Be specific. Write it down. Make it clear and definite. Then ask yourself, do I desire this enough? Am I willing to do whatever it takes? Can I persist when things get hard? If the answer is yes, you're ready. Create your plan. Find your mastermind. Guard your thoughts. Feed your subconscious mind with faith and belief. And then, most importantly, take action. Decide. Persist. Never, ever give up. The formula works. It's been proven by thousands of successful people.
It worked in 1937, it works today, it will work tomorrow. But it only works if you work it. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. Your thoughts can create wealth or poverty, success or failure, achievement or mediocrity. The choice is yours. Everything you want is possible. Everything you can conceive and believe you can achieve. That's not motivational fluff. That's a proven formula, tested and verified by the most successful people who ever lived. So I'll leave you with the question Andrew Carnegie asked Napoleon Hill. Are you willing to commit yourself to learning and applying these principles no matter how long it takes or how difficult it becomes? If you are, your success is inevitable. Think it, believe it, act on it, persist in it, and you will grow rich, not just in money, but in every area of your life. The formula is yours. Now go apply it. And if you want to continue this journey with me, if you want to learn the wisdom from more books that can transform your financial life and mindset, subscribe to this channel. Hit that button. Join us. Because we're just getting started. There are 97 more books to go, and each one contains knowledge that can change everything. Your transformation begins with a single thought. Let this be that thought. Subscribe, and let's think and grow rich together.